Time is 3:51 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to share a video from public safety that he did today. Oh, I think Chris is a pretty good young guy. Okay, this is part 2. And I hope you all like it. So let me get back and present, share, hit that, and hit enter. So here we go, people.
To meet county cases side by side comparison, maybe by copying various signatures, Your Honor.
You wish to submit this into the record?
So hit, hit, this, hit subscribe button for public safety YouTube channel.
It's in the court file, but
You know what I'm talking
conditions of
about.
probation. And so no other witnesses or exhibits.
Audio up stuff now.
Some of it. Mr. Clayton?
Your Honor, I'd move the court to deny the motion to revoke at this point on alternate grounds. First of all, they haven't proved the identity of the defendant. And that's a rather fundamental step in a criminal prosecution. They have to identify beyond any doubt the defendant's the person identified in the motion to revoke. There is supposedly a record from Hardin County regarding his arrest or citation or presentation to the court on this marijuana charge. And there's no picture, there's no fingerprints, there's no way to identify that the individual listed on those documents is the individual sitting over here at this table. There's also nothing to indicate that he did not at some point in the past 25 years complete the program, that CAPS program, which was a condition of his probation. So given this lack of proof, I move the court to deny the motion to revoke at this time.
May I respond, Your Honor?
Of course. You may.
Your Honor, if I could just kind of.
People, this case is over 25 years old. Nobody can identify him. No fingerprints, no photos when he was in jail. You all know if you live in Indiana, when you get fingerprinted, your fingerprints goes to the FBI. That's how Indiana is. I don't know about Kentucky. You know, Chris got screwed here. Pardon my French. But something's wrong here. 25 years. If they wanted him, they knew he had Indiana driver's license. Back 25 years ago, I don't think driver's license had a picture ID on it? People, let me know. Because this is kind of weird. Maybe his girlfriend, as he said in his past videos, maybe she took his driver's license. Maybe it's an old boyfriend of hers. Who knows? And from what I've been hearing on his channel and FW and JJ, the hate group, when you do a video, you do the whole thing. You don't cut out certain parts of it to make it suit your YouTube channel. That's only my opinion. And let's get back to this young man.
Do a little level setting and make sure we're on the same place facts-wise with that original case, Judge. On August 22nd, 1998, the defendant was charged with possession of marijuana, possession of drug paraphernalia, and he was cited to appear in court on September 13th, 1998, which was a Sunday.
Let's stop here and take that in for a minute. Why in the hell would a police officer cite someone to show up to court on a Sunday?
Yeah, why would they do it? No courts in Indiana will cite you in the court on a Saturday or Sunday. So what's wrong here, people? See, I told you Chris is getting the shaft put into him. To me, that case should be thrown out. I don't think anywhere in the United States, people, wherever you're at in the United States, the court system have a court hearing on a Saturday or a Sunday? That's a question to answer. I agree with Chris. Nobody holds a court on Sundays that I know of.
The file will show that the clerk sent out a notice on October 27th, 1998, for the defendant to appear on September 14th, 1998.
Okay, did anyone catch that? On October 27th, the clerk sent a notice to a person to appear 1 month earlier on September 14th.
Bear with me, Marty. All your questions will be answered. Roll tape.
Okay,
I will proceed.
Doc, is that a demo?
Never mind that now. Never mind that now.
Is it normal for the clerks to tell someone to appear in court last month?
The clerk sent out a notice on October 27th, 1998, for the defendant to appear on September 14th, 1998.
You're about to hear whenever I get on the stand, they never had a valid address because the stupid officer was using a completely fake address on the entire citation in the first place. Anything that had ever been sent at all to that address would have never reached any human being at all. So what the prosecutor is about to allege next makes no sense. He's getting ready to say that someone showed up for court based on something being mailed that could have never reached anybody and that they were arraigned. Just listen.
On September 14th, 1998, the defendant was arraigned, and the case was continued for a pretrial conference on September 23rd, 1998. On September 23rd, 1998, the defendant appeared with a private attorney, BJ Holycross.
And I know there's probably some pretty crappy attorneys out there, but what attorney would have their client plead guilty to one single marijuana cigarette in the kitchen cabinet of somebody else's house based on a case that has a fake address? All the facts are wrong. The name is misspelled. This doesn't make sense either. And not only have I never heard of anyone named BJ Holycross, but I also have been researching trying to find a BJ Holycross anywhere in the area of Radcliffe, Kentucky, and I cannot locate one at all.
In a world controlled buy gas. There's only one way out. The Skill Power Core 40 yard equipment.
Pleaded guilty to the possession of marijuana. The defendant signed the terms and conditions of probation in the court file. On October 8, 1998, court is heard, the defendant met with CAPS and signed paperwork at CAPS on that separate date. On November 12, 1998, the defendant's court costs were paid in full. August 16, 1999, the court heard our office's motion to revoke probation for not complying. Notice had been sent to 35 Chester Lane.
Now, this may be the only thing out of the prosecutor's mouth that halfway makes any sort of sense, because I did move to 35 Chester Lane in February-ish of 1999
from the state of Indiana,
but had moved out and was long gone by April. So the prosecutor's saying that they sent something to an address that I actually did live at, but not until August. So nobody would have received that either. The funny thing is that I happen to have been carrying a very old ID in my wallet from 1999 at the day I was arrested at Post 4. You got to wonder, did the cops get into my wallet and see that old address and add it to these fake-ass records?
Brandenburg, Kentucky, an address which the defendant acknowledges in one of his motions to dismiss was the address on his driver's license. So that was an accurate address for him at some point, and that's where notice was sent. Not to this Morgan Street address that they claim is bogus.
He just
right
said
here,
that.
either the prosecutor is playing dumb or he is dumb, because we're all holding the exact same records, and in all of my file, it's showing that only one service was ever sent to 35 Chester Lane, and all of the other were returned by the sheriff's department because nobody responded and nobody was there because the address didn't exist. And how could anyone have ever showed up to court in the first place, like the prosecutor is alleging, because they were sending notices for going to court to an address that didn't exist.
I remember, right? He showed that
The
too.
court revoked his probation because he did not appear, issued a bench warrant. January 3rd, 2023, he was served with that bench warrant. And Judge, he apparently claims that an imposter was the one charged in that case. And that just does not make sense. And why not? Why does that not make sense? Your Honor knows you've been doing this a long time. It's not rare for somebody to lie about their identity to the court.
People, I sent Chris an email months ago when I started watching him. There is another person that looks like him, to the T, skinny like him, like that. I think the guy was in the state of Tennessee. I could be wrong. And I think his business was tree trimming service. I think this was a divorce case or child support case. He looked like Chris back in the 90s. So there's something strange about that. I don't like what this prosecutor doing.
That happens. Very often, the ones that get away with it are family members, often siblings, who know enough identifying information to seem credible. But in all those cases that I've ever seen, and I would guess that the court has seen, what happens after that arrest or citation? Imposters do not come back to court, Your Honor, at all, let alone multiple times. Imposters do not hire private attorneys to appear with them in court. Imposters
Yes, they
do
do.
not come to an appointment with CAPS on a separate date to sign the CAPS paperwork, as was done in this case. Imposters do not pay court costs at a later date, as was done in this case.
Okay, people, why haven't the prosecutor have a handwriting expert? Now, what's wrong with this picture? Wouldn't the prosecutor or the defense attorney have a handwriting expert involved to see if Chris is telling the truth or is he a liar? I believe Chris is telling the truth. You know, I like what Chris does for Indiana on exposing corruption. Let's get back to this idiot prosecutor.
But Judge, the most clear positive evidence we have are the matching signatures. Referring again to Mr. Ryder's letter to the court from back in January, or motion to dismiss, he references being in jail in Meade County. And Your Honor, I've reviewed the court and that in addition to the copies of the cases submitted as exhibits. I only see one case in all of those where he was in jail, and that was in the 1999 assault 4 case.
They got rid of the
And
record.
there are 2 signatures in that case. There are 2 signatures in the 1998 traffic case. And there are 2 signatures in the Hardin County 98 possession marijuana case. Your Honor, you don't have to be a meteorologist to know it's raining outside. And you don't have to be a handwriting expert to know the same person signed every one of those.
Yes, you do.
That's the positive evidence. I acknowledge there is no photo because he wasn't arrested. There was no jail photo.
Chris even showed the video.
But I believe, based on the burden of proof in a revocation case being beyond by preponderance of evidence, that there is ample evidence for this court to make a decision that he is the person and that he was in violation, just like Judge Coleman already found, and to sentence him accordingly.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Mr. Clay, you wish to put on your case?
Yes, sir. We want to call the defendant.
Very well. Before we do that, as kind of housekeeping, your motion at this juncture, given the standard of proof requires overrule, Mr. Clay, so we can put on your case in chief now. If you would, let me call your witness.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ryder, step to the podium if you would, sir.
I think you got all this.
Good afternoon to you. You would, sir, come step to, raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Absolutely.
Take the stand, sir. Watch step as you run. As you testify, you testify under oath. Speak to the microphone very clearly. Mr. Clay, you have the witness.
Would you state your name for the record, please?
Yes, sir. It's Christopher Ryder.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may, sir.
I want to show you a document here that has been prepared by the court and ask you to tell the court about that document and your explanation for that. Show the court what it is. Yeah.
Yes.
The way I know this was when I learned of this case existing, this was the copy of the little envelope that they put the old record in that I got here from the clerk. And all the information that was crossed out was not information that pertained to me at all. And I updated the clerk with my current address, I told her the address that I actually had back then and had her spell my name right. And that's why it's got.
What was the name that was on there?
Ritter, R-E-I-T-T-R.
Is that your name?
No, sir.
What address was on there?
137 Morgan Street, lot 2461, Radcliffe, Kentucky, 40160.
Was that your address?
I'd never heard of that address in my life, sir.
You heard this officer testify, this former Radcliffe police officer testify about a run he made to a residence. Do you know anything about that run?
I wouldn't know anything about that run other than what I've seen in these documents after doing
Did you hear his testimony that involved a welfare check of a juvenile?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any children?
No, sir.
Did you have any children living with you in 1998?
Not at all, sir.
And if you've been watching the channel, you might recall the video where Official Misconduct and I had gone to the child welfare office to retrieve these records. And this is how we were met there.
Who are you?
I'm a security guard. I need to know who you are.
You don't even know who we are.
Who are you? You have an ID.
Oh, I'm not gonna give you my ID. I don't have to.
Okay.
What you gonna do with that?
How you doing? That's all I need. What about that gun on your side? You trying to be intimidating?
I'm not going to sit. I'm not a dog.
Should I call the police?
You can.
Okay, in the state of Kentucky, a security guard has to go through training. You got to take a course on shooting your pistol. Then you get your certification. Then you go to the local police department. Like my son, he had to go to LMPD. Then over here, he had to get a gun permit and all this to be a licensed carry security guard. Security guard does not have the authority to arrest you in Indiana or Kentucky. I was a security guard. The office was in Indiana, but we done work in Kentucky. Anytime we had a problem, we had to call LMPD to come there and arrest them. The security guards got no authority to arrest someone. They have to call the local police. I don't think this idiot old man knows the law unless they change it.
Okay, I'll call the police.
Okay, I guess do that. Interesting. We were being just no louder than we are right now. He kept coming up behind us with the gun while I was trying to fill this thing out. Sir, can I help you? Is there something I can help you with? Why are you trying to mess with us while we're trying to do our business?
Well, I understand that.
I don't feel comfortable with an armed man coming up behind us like this.
So they hopefully will be able to leave now.
Yeah, we were just waiting on them because they've never done this before. It's a 1998 case, and they didn't know that I could do a records request here for my case from 1998.
Okay.
So she got a little flustered.
Okay.
She's
well,
flustered.
Are you guys good to go then?
What do
Because
you
I think
mean?
we're done now. They have their paperwork. I have their forms. So they should be good to go now.
Well, I feel like we at least owe them an explanation. They were called and drove all the way over here. I mean,
Yeah.
it would be kind of rude.
And if
not
there was a
explain.
false report, then maybe they would want to handle that. So how about let us handle
Because
this?
this is
You were here the whole time, weren't you?
When he walked up to you with his hand on his firearm for no reason, standing there peacefully talking to this guy trying to conduct business. Why he thought he needed his hand on his weapon. He wasn't a threat. He wasn't loud. He wasn't disrupting nobody. He was just talking to the man, the voice he is now.
Did this officer come into where you were living on that night?
No, sir.
You're invited to an evening of legends, mysteries, and tales of adventure with Josh Gates. Join Explorer Talk.
This is something I believe it's already in the record. That's a citation that indicates that the check was for a minor.
Mhm.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, here's another document. This is already in the record, Your Honor, the citation. Here's another document that's a warrant. Do you recognize that document? It's a warrant of arrest.
No, sir. Other than after the case, I do have it existing and be getting records.
Whose name is listed on that warrant?
It's spelled incorrect. So it's spelled REITTR Christopher L.
Is that your name?
No, sir.
What's the address listed on that warrant?
137 Morgan Street, lot 2461, Radcliffe, Kentucky.
Have you ever lived there on that address?
No, sir. I lived in Indiana.
The next document is an affidavit for violation of probation. And I think you heard that former probation officer testified about that.
Mhm.
That was mailed out. Was that mailed to your address?
No, sir.
What address is that listed on there?
35 Chester Lane, Brandenburg, Kentucky.
Did you ever live there?
I did live at that address a year after all of this.
Did you live there in 1998
No, sir.
or 1999?
At the middle of 1999, I lived there for 2 months.
Okay, did you receive that notice?
No, sir.
This is a release from custody. I don't know that we need to put that in there. This was just recent. You were released from custody in 2023 when you were arrested. You were arrested in January of this year, is that right?
That's correct, sir.
And that's a release from custody?
That's what I believe it to be.
And let me show you this document right here. What is this document attached to that release from custody?
It would appear that this would be a summary of any type of record.
A CourtNet document. You probably don't know what CourtNet is.
And I'm not very.
Okay, let me have that back.
I don't either.
Sorry.
This is a notice and motion to revoke probation that was dated August the 4th, 1999. What address was that sent to?
I don't see an address. Oh, it says 35 Chester Lane, Brandenburg, Kentucky.
Were you living there then?
What is the date on this?
1999.
I'd need to know what month. 4th day of August. I do not believe so.
Okay.
I believe it.
5 years is a long time.
This is the terms and conditions of probation. And is that name on there listed as defendant, is that spelled correctly?
It's spelled REITTR.
Is that your name?
No, sir.
This is apparently the arrest slip from this year from KSP. Here's a criminal summons that was sent to you, or as I say sent to you, it was sent out. Is this the same? No, that's a different one. All right, read to the court the name of the individual there and the address.
REITTR, Christopher L., 137 Morgan Street, lot 2461, Radcliffe, Kentucky, 40160.
What's the date on that? Right here.
I'm sorry, my eyes are getting bad as I get over here. September 14th, 1998 at 9 a.m.
Okay. And here's another warrant of arrest. How's the defendant's name spelled on that?
REITTR, Christopher L.
And the address?
137 Morgan Street, lot 2461, Radcliffe, Kentucky.
What's the date on that?
August 16th, 1999.
There is another criminal summons here. And again, I don't want to belabor the point, but is that your name on there?
It's not spelled the same as my name.
What's the address?
137 Morgan Street, lot 2461, Radcliffe, Kentucky.
Now, those signatures that have been tendered by the prosecution, are those your signatures?
No, sir.
Need a handwriting expert.
When you found out that this run to this address, wherever it was based on a complaint involving a juvenile. Did you take steps to find out if the cabinet had any records of a welfare check in your name?
Absolutely.
I want to show you these documents here, and I think the Commonwealth indicated they had no objection to them, Your Honor. So these are.
I'll point out that I don't believe you're certified, but that's fine, Judge. No objection.
So noted.
Okay.
He knew
Just tell the court what you did and what response you received for the Cabinet for Health Services.
Well, I went to Kentucky's Department of Child Services and Family Services to see if there was any records that might indicate anything about this case. So I asked for all records that might have involved my name, my social security number, my anything that there was about me, including the person that I dated from that long ago. And they responded with this. Well, they responded with that there were no records available because there were none. So then I asked if they would, verify that. And they sent this to me in an email, and it's saying that they ran everything, my name, the girl that I dated back then's name, date of birth, social security numbers, and that they were unable to find any files through the Kentucky Department and Library of Archives involving me.
Did that search they did include the historical files?
That's what it says here.
We'll read that for the record, if you can. You want me to hold it back for you a little bit? So
My eyes are getting procedure.
let me read it. Is it all right if I read it, Your Honor? The Department for Community-Based Services, DCBS Record Management Branch, RMB, has received a request for records. Please be advised that we were unable to locate any records after searching by your name, last, first, date of birth, and/or social security number, or by searching for the parameters of the alleged victim you named Alexis Garcia. We are also unable to locate any historical files for you at the Kentucky Department for Library and Archives. If you have any questions, please call. And did you receive that on or about October the 12th of this year?
Yes, sir.
Was there another letter that they sent you on the same day? They had no records that they could tie you to any incident involving what was alleged in that criminal complaint?
Yes, that's correct.
And then there was another letter, they saying they were gathering information here. So, Judge, I would like to tender these documents, and do I miss anything? I don't think so. I had no further questions.
Have you had a chance to review those?
I glanced at them briefly, Judge, and I guess my only.
You will explain purposely to Mr. Moore, wait, I'm going to the record. If you can so publish, Mr. Moore, so you can go on the record.
Sure.
Judge, my only objection, I guess.
These were not, let me show you the ones that we moved.
Oh, I see.
All the ones that you moved to introduce into the record. And after you had a chance to review them, I see if you have an objection. If so, what that objection would be.
Yes, sir.
Man.
Some to-dos show up unexpectedly.
Of course, I think most of this is already in the court file, but as to these cabinet letters, I guess my only objection would be relevance, because there's not been any allegation or assertion that there was cabinet involvement that day. The officer testified they could have got a welfare check request from a variety of sources. He doesn't know.
So basically what the prosecutor is saying here, that if a cop is called to a residence at 3 a.m. in the morning to check on the welfare of a child and finds drugs, that he's not going to document that?
As to these cabinet letters, I guess
That's true. A good police officer would do
there's
that.
not been any allegation or assertion that there was cabinet involvement that day. The officer testified they could have got a welfare check request from a variety of sources. He doesn't know. So
I'll note that for the Record?
Yes, sir.
May I approach the bench, Your
You
Honor?
may.
Judge is scratching his head.
That's all I have.
Mr. Moore, you have the witness.
Yes, sir. Sir, what's your date of birth? Sir, what's your social security number? All right.
I
And
never
what about
heard
your,
a lawyer or
you know your driver's
prosecutor
license?
ask you that in court in Indiana. I don't think it's legal because it's public record.
Okay. And did you, the citation you looked at a minute ago, all those identifiers are present on that, correct?
I'd have to see that again.
Yeah, perfect.
I believe so after research.
I don't know if the internet causing that or StreamYard. I've talked to other people using StreamYard. They're having the same problem as I'm having right now.
So there's,
Here.
okay.
Can you read it, Mr. Wright?
Yes, I'm sorry, I'm just getting a little.
I see you looking back down at it.
His little slip up quickly is because here's the part that I was expecting.
And let's see, you were released from jail on $1,000 cash bond, is that right?
That is incorrect. That is not correct.
Okay.
Right.
Is that the bond paperwork that you signed in 1999?
Yes, I have been questioning this paperwork.
Okay. So
I didn't know. The answer is I did not sign it. That does not look like a signature.
Okay. Acknowledge the case, the charge, but you deny signing paperwork to get out of jail.
Well, I didn't get out of jail. Not until
Now, I believe it, but he can't find the records of that, of him being in jail. I don't know if you've been in jail in Indiana, they got records of everything. Maybe Kentucky does it different from Indiana. They should have had records of everything. They should have videos. Back in those days, they had VHS compared to what they got today. So where's the screw up, people? I think Chris is telling the truth here.
Hearing. I didn't bond.
As we saw in part one, all of you saw exactly what happened whenever I tried to go get a copy of that forged document over in Meade County.
This is it. This is where I go. Hello, how are you today? All right, got a bunch of business to do with you.
Okay.
I am Chris Ryder. I've called here several times.
Okay.
And I have court tomorrow, and they're trying to use records from here, from a 1999 case. That was me here in 1999.
Okay, my question, since he had an attorney, you know, this young attorney, I know he's old, but why couldn't his attorney get the records? I know it's saving him some money by getting it himself. But that's when you pay attorney for people to get the records. Save you all this headaches. And watch his video. You see where he's always getting a shaft put to him.
Right, in which I went to jail here.
Okay.
So I've gotten some of those records, some of your all's records, and we need to do some comparing what I've got to what you've got.
Okay.
And B, I've got a lot of questions about what's here.
Okay.
So it might be a few minutes, and I don't mean to give you any trouble, but I got to do this.
Okay.
So can you pull my original file that you have so that we can compare what I have to what you have?
Ellen is on her way to speak with you.
Oh, thank you.
So if you just want to wait a little while,
So
we'll
you
speak in
need
here.
to sit down.
Yeah.
Walk away.
Yeah.
What?
She'll come
Excuse me?
She'll come in.
What did you just tell her that for? She's being very helpful. You don't tell people.
See, what are they hiding? They telling her not to help him anymore. That tells me they're hiding something. What do you all think? A clerk not supposed to do that. I know Kentucky is a commonwealth. Indiana is a state. The laws can't be that much different, people. Why are they doing that to him? Is that because he's videotaping? He does it for his own safety. Have a public record of it. Go to his YouTube channel, subscribe to his YouTube channel, give him the thumbs up, just like here. Subscribe to my channel, give me the thumbs up. You know, I hope you all like it. But he's getting screwed here by Kentucky.
To leave. Don't leave. You've been great. What's wrong with you? Who is that? What's her name?
I don't have to get her.
That woman just told her to stop helping me.
Wait for our clerk to get here.
Yeah, but why did you tell her that?
She needs to walk away.
No, she does not need to walk away. Who are you? Who are you?
Are you?
Yes, it is my business. Who are you?
Chief Deputy Whiting.
Nice to meet you, sir. Nice to meet you.
But if you start making.
See, Chris is being real nice, not loud.
Well, hold on, sir.
And if you refuse to leave, I'll arrest you for disorderly conduct.
You already threatened me with arrest?
Oh, no, I'm not threatening you. Trust
Yes, he is.
me.
Well, why did you just say
That's
that?
not a threat. I don't make threats.
Let me go.
Get,
What is that?
you get your
promise?
copies? And then
No, I need more than copies. I'm waiting on Ellen. Let them tell me the
Get
truth.
your copies and y'all can go.
I'm not going anywhere.
Oh, yes, y'all.
Oh, no, I won't.
One way or another.
I will not. I'm not leaving until I get my record.
Our business, sir.
Get your copies.
Who are you
wherever
again?
I'm Chief Deputy Whiting with the
Chief
Sheriff's Office.
Deputy. And you don't know to treat the public
Trust me,
better
I
than
do.
this? What are you doing this for? This is my
Watch
record.
this.
I got
You
court
see
tomorrow.
what happens.
You won't, I will.
You get
He
your copies.
violated
I don't just need copies.
Right.
If you knew what was going
You're
on,
not gonna keep these ladies up
I'm
there.
not keeping them up there doing nothing except for their job.
I can't.
You don't know. Do you know
I
their
do know
job?
their job. Yes. This is what I'm sent for from Frankfurt.
What is the job of the circuit court clerk?
To go over these records with me,
Oh, it
to
is.
explain them.
To explain them to
She
you?
handles
Yes,
the
yes.
records. She
That's true.
handles
Show me
documents. She
that.
makes copies. She
Look
does
up
files.
Kentucky Open Records Access for him.
Show me
Or
that.
just tell him the statute. You look it up.
Show me that.
You look it up.
No, you
Kentucky
show me.
statute to open
I
records.
didn't
Tell him the number.
Show me. You know her job
Open records,
better
I do
than I
believe
do.
it's
Show me.
KRS.
I know this is the clerk's
96
office and these are clerk's records and this has questionable
What is her
weapon talk.
job?
This has
This
questionable
What
stuff.
deputy
is her job?
is
To tell me what this is about.
That's how
You don't
come
want
I
to answer for
believe
everybody
that
else, but you don't want to
you
give answer.
file a lawsuit against.
What are you talking
What is
about?
the
How
job of
is
the
it
circuit
our
court
job
clerk?
to
What are you
tell what
talking
their
about?
job
said-
is?
You said.
Did you come in
want
here
her
to
do her
escalate the
job. I'm
situation?
not escalating. nothing.
The hell you aren't. You know what you ought to do?
not.
You ought to go on and get dismissed. Just get on out of
You
here.
go away.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, let's just go to jail then for this.
For what? Excuse me? Nine?
How is this
Hold up.
disorderly
Get your
conduct
hands
under the
off of him.
statute?
That's my record.
It's not.
Hands off of him.
Why are you shaking so bad, bro?
Behind your back.
Don't you touch me. If you touch me, you're going to be in a pickle. Do not touch me. I wouldn't laugh. Don't touch me.
Hey,
You just messed
my
up.
stuff.
You
I
want to go?
wouldn't- I would not do that if I were you.
What are you going to do?
Don't fucking
Really?
get.
Oh, whoa. Whoa. This is
You want to
unnecessary.
get
Don't put your
You want to get
You seen this on Triumph's Beware Video TV channel. You seen that on his video. This is, to me, illegal.
And I don't remember the charges, so I can't verify those either. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Especially it's over 20 years ago. You expect me to remember something happened
Do you
20
remember
plus
you
years
were
ago?
charged with
No.
some type of assault charge
I don't remember the charges.
at all?
I don't remember what they were on the case. I do not remember the charges.
You know you were arrested,
Yes, that's true.
but you don't know what the charge was.
I don't remember the charges. I really don't.
Well, if the record suggests it was assault, do you dispute that?
No, I wouldn't dispute that it could have been.
You mentioned a girlfriend at the time. What was her name? Okay. So, if the document says bail posted $1,000, 500 feet away from, does that ring a bell? Does that sound like the case you're involved with?
You're asking me if it's what's on the document?
That's what's on the document. I'm asking you, does that ring a bell?
I'm sorry, I'm misunderstanding the question. Yes, that's what this says.
Okay. Do you recall that from that case?
From the case? Yes. So when I left court, I agreed to have no contact with her.
Okay. But you do
What's that
not,
got
when
to do with the marijuana
you
cigarette?
came back to court on a couple weeks later or 9 days later?
Sir, I was already in the jail and came out from the jail to that court date.
Oh, okay. All right. Is that what the video shows?
We're waiting on the video to come back.
And at this point, that video did come back finally, and it does show that I had been in the jail the whole time. We'll go over that later on the channel.
I'm sorry, Judge, I took this.
That is what the video will show.
I believe the video I saw showed him in street clothes.
The 98.
You're in jail, you're in an orange jumpsuit.
I think that's exactly.
Maybe they dressed him for court. That does happen sometimes.
This is actually.
Because in Indiana,
He also
they
needs
put
this
you in street clothes and you're handcuffed and you go to court.
Do you recall being charged with careless driving, suspended operator's license, and no insurance in Meade County, I think in Muldraw, August 13th, 1998?
I can only remember being pulled over in Muldraw around that approximate time
Okay, I don't know. if
because
it's-
I had a CDL at the time. And I had to do some stuff to make sure it didn't affect my CDL abilities.
Okay, okay. But do you
That's
recall
true. I've been through this.
this case?
Well, I've just answered because I don't recall 20 some years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember being pulled over in Muldraw
Sure.
20 some years ago.
Can you all
No, I don't
remember
remember
what
exactly
happened
what it was.
20 plus years
I actually
ago?
thought it was speeding.
Who lives at 246 Leo Way?
And right about now is where I actually wish I did have a time traveling DeLorean, because I didn't realize that the prosecutor was slipping in a completely different address at the time, and I thought he was referencing the 137 Morgan Street, lot 2461 at this time.
I have no clue. I went to that address after I realized this case existed, and I was told by the manager and owner of of the trailer park, that the buildings, the trailers that are on it don't go past 205. So there's no way either one of those two numbers. That's what I was told by the owner.
Okay, well, but that 246 Leah Way address.
Did you catch that? It's a completely different address than every bit of the record.
Was that your address?
No, I've never. I lived in Indiana.
Do you have any explanation as why there's an insurance card with that address and your name on it?
That is my ex-girlfriend's name right there.
And that's also your name, right?
Well, I didn't have insurance with her. I wasn't married to her.
Okay, but that's your name and that's an address that you say you were never at, correct?
I'm sorry, can I see that again? Just because I've never seen this, I wouldn't understand why she would have insurance and have my name on her driver's insurance.
And looking back on it, maybe she did live on Leah Way. I don't know how that's relevant, other than the fact that it does have 246 in that address. It's not the same as everything that was on all these court documents, which was 137 Morgan Street, lot 2461. And if it proves anything, I never did live with her, and I certainly didn't have insurance with her. It might prove that someone was forging my information.
That's what it looks like to me, is that she got insurance and put my name on her driver's insurance.
Okay.
And then there is, yes.
Do you remember her living at that address at some
No, I do
point?
not.
Okay. Okay. Being required to the court?
To the court?
As on an order of probation?
Can I see it?
That's it, right
Okay.
there.
No, I do not remember this at all.
Okay, and you deny that's your signature? Is that right?
It's not, doesn't look anything like my signature.
Sorry.
And I wish I could show you guys how far off these signatures are from my actual signature, but there's no way I'm going to put a picture of my actual signature on this video, because JJ Scarborough, the elected official for the county corrections over in Meade, blasted all of my legal information from this video on another YouTube channel with a guy who is a career criminal and was even charged with murder at one point. Let's go over just a little of that, and I'll save the rest for another video.
Would like for all of you to meet Mr. JJ Scarborough. JJ, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir. Can
Good
you hear
evening,
me?
Mr. Scarborough. Pleasure to talk to you again.
Well, thank you, Ranger. It's nice to finally sit down and have a good conversation with you.
Absolutely.
I know.
Appreciate you reaching out to me last night.
And here JJ admits to reaching out to the career criminal to give him a copy of the unredacted court video where my full name, legal full name, social security number, driver's license number, and address was all on the unredacted footage that was given to this idiot.
And I promise you, I won't do anything to betray that trust and that faith.
That is illegal.
And now JJ gets to learn
What
that a
JJ
person
done
with a
was
career like
illegal.
Wrangler is going to betray that trust really quickly, because he just got JJ wrapped up in a felony for sharing my information that way, using his position as an elected official to get unredacted footage and blast it all over the World Wide Web.
But the good news is, because it's so close in time, we know that we made 2 recordings. We know one was for you all, and one was for the Meade County Detention Center.
The Meade County Detention Center. So that would be the elected official, JJ Scarborough.
You are the elected jail administrator for Meade County, Kentucky, yes?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, people, in Indiana, we different from Kentucky. In Indiana, the sheriff is in charge of the jail, not a jailer like it is in Kentucky. Kentucky needs to do away with that position and give it over to all the sheriffs in the state of Kentucky. You taxpayers pays the sheriff. You could save the taxpayers money if they do away with that job and give it to the sheriff, as it's supposed to be like it is in other states. I disagree with Kentucky on this part of their law.
Judge, I don't have any.
Mr. Clay,
Nothing, sir.
is that your case?
Yes, sir.
So you need to step down. As I understand it, the primary claim by the defendant is this case involves a person that's not me.
Correct, yes, sir.
That's what this is. Not me. That's the defense. The issue you have on your side is a 25-year-old case that should have been vanquished long ago.
I agree.
2-year probationary period for a misdemeanor offense. That was stayed by the probation violation notification filed back in 1999. No one can remember this gentleman over here, but I'm sure there's one guy that would remember. I'm shocked he's not here to testify, and I'm shocked he's not here to identify or not to identify, because he can certainly bear witness to either Mr. Moore's case as being correct or Mr. Clay's case as being correct. He's a friend. He's a colleague. We're pretty close. He's also upstairs most days. Matter of fact, I saw him as I was leaving to go to get something to eat. Mr. Moore, who am I talking about?
Maybe talking about Judge Simcoe?
The Honorable John Simcoe. You know why I can say that? Because Mr. Simcoe is now the sitting circuit judge for the Harlan Circuit Court. He's also happened to be the county attorney's office during that same time frame. So we have eyes that can lay on Mr. Ryder to say, I think that'd be him. No, that ain't him. So now I'm left to try to figure out a set of incredible circumstances here, not so incredible, as to whether or not this gentleman is in fact Christopher L. Ryder, the same Christopher Ryder that was charged in 2098 with these offenses.
You mean 1998, not 2098.
There are some subsequent concerns that I have about the case. quite frankly, that don't involve the defense raised by Mr. Wright.
PC Liquidations provides computer and telecom solutions for your office or home for 33 years.
And that's something I need to Russ to do. It's a sidebar, but a very important sidebar to this case. Aside from the fact that the issue of the identity of Mr. Ryder, whether it's him or not him that day. Because the basis for the affidavit and the basis for the probation revocation had to do with a certified affidavit filed by, at that time, an organization known as CAPS. And we heard the testimony of the witness here, who I happen to know was a court official for me many years in adjoining county.
Whoa! He's talking about the lady that was on the stand who tried to falsely identify me and incriminate me in a crime that I didn't commit.
Ma'am, state your name for the record.
Sherry Brechtenwald.
All right, and back in 1998 and 99, did you work for the Kentucky Alternative Programs Court Monitoring Office?
I did.
Okay. And I don't have a whole lot of questions for you, but just to identify a couple of documents. Judge, I believe you referenced this connected to the motion.
I did.
And I just want to show that to the witness. That's a copy. Can you tell the court what that is, what that document is?
It's a form that he signs agreeing to undergo random drug
Your Honor,
screens.
I have to object. I apologize for objecting, but there's a signature on that document. We can test whether the defendant signed that. I will acknowledge there's a signature on there, but we're certainly not going to concede that it's Mr. Reader's signature.
The judge here just informed us that that witness was not just the person who filed for this cap issue with the revocation and tried to get me thrown in jail, but she's also an official for the Meade County Courts.
And we heard the testimony of the witness here, who I happen to know was a court official for me many years in adjoining county. So I'm familiar with, I don't think her last name was the same then as it is now, nor her hair seems a bit lighter than it was then. But I do know the individual. But unfortunately, I also know the organization. I've had a lot of dealings with them over the years. So my concern has nothing to do with your case per se. You know what my concern is.
She's lying in my book.
I'm going to have to mull this over, because assuming that I disbelieve your position, Mr. Clay, or your client, I got to figure out if I believe or disbelieve not Mr. Moore, not the county attorney's office.
Have to believe her.
But the affidavit and the organization itself that served Hardin County during that time frame.
And we're going to have to do some more digging, because it sounds like the judge is saying that that time frame for that organization, CAPS, was a complete disaster.
And I've got my reasons for saying that. The long story, Mr. Moore's probably familiar with as much as I am, because we were forced to unravel a lot of things that took place during that same time frame. Several years after, but the practice was in place for years prior to the discovery of the practice or practices. So I've got to mull that over as well. And when I mull it over, there's one more thing I got to take a look at. something that my daddy told me when I was a kid. Son, is the juice worth the squeeze? That's a Hart County thing. Sometimes someone will get it someday.
These are the 10 best LED grow lights for 2024. Welcome.
I'm going to mull this case over. There is, if there's permission, this is a copy of this. There's not a record. I'm assuming Mr. Moore and Mr. Clay, you'd have absolutely no concerns because it makes your case, or it makes your case. Have the Honorable John Simcoe take a gander at this mug. And quite frankly, if he can't identify it, then I'm not going to give any reference at all. If he says it's not him, the case is over with. If he says it is him, I still got more of the other issues that I'm concerned about. They have nothing to do with your testimony, but has everything to do with the, not the witness, but the witness's organization.
We have no objection to doing that, Your Honor.
I have no objection, Judge. I just assume nobody 25 years ago is going to remember
I
one way or
would.
the other. But
I would. Mr. Hampton, you think I would? Unfortunately, I would. That's not a good thing. Sometimes you want to forget, but I don't. So, no submitted. So that I'm clear,
Hello,
if
my
Mr.
name is John.
If the Honorable Judge
How you
Simcoe
doing
can
this
quantify
afternoon?
me without doubt, identify Mr. Ryder as the individual.
Well, this is for public safety. He's a great guy. He lives in Indiana. He lives west of me in Harrison County, which is Corden, Indiana. He lives out in the boondocks. He lives in the country. And he does a whole lot for Indiana and Kentucky, expose corruption. He exposed the ex-sheriff, Jamey Noel of Clark County, Indiana. As you all know, I've done a live stream showing the case file, which is public record. I showed all the different charges, but if you want to go into more detail, you have to pay for the transcript. They just, in case like that, they just put it in a computer, attorney appearing, e-filing, what happened. They don't put everything in these computerized court cases unless you pay for the transcripts of anything. So let's get back to it. Hit the subscribe bell, people. Hit the thumbs up. I love you all.
Individual in question. That doesn't mean this case still is won by Mr. Moore, because I've got to look over some other issues that was not as part of the testimony, but the court has knowledge of. That is the practice of caps for those years.
yes, sir.
If Mr. Moore,
Yes, sir.
it's not him, that's pretty obvious what I'm going to do.
Yes, sir.
Anything else? Anything else?
No,
If
sir.
not,
No,
good to
ma'am.
see everybody again. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Your
By the way, Mr. Moore, Mr. Clay, I'm not that great. I have to see Judge Simcoe in the elevator, and I mentioned I had a case coming up. He asked what case. I said, right. I said, oh, remember that case? Now, whether or not it's you or not, it's a different issue.
Well, we'll never object to the court taking more time to think about its decision.
Thank you, sir. Good seeing you again. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And this time the cliffhanger is not my fault because the judge still has not made a final decision that I know of yet. But the hearing is over. The trial is over. The only thing that it could end up resulting in is a decision that we don't agree with and potentially an appeal. However, it doesn't sound like the judge is going to make that choice. I'm pretty sure that it's obvious that this thing is going to get dismissed. Make sure that you hit that subscribe and notify button because the next video on the channel should be the entire video of where elected official from Meade County Jail, JJ Scarborough, gets busted in a felony. Love you all. See you on the next one.
I wish I could have something like this for my channel, but I'm not smart enough. Make sure you hit the subscribe bell, people. You see that cop beating the heck out of that person in this world. That's the guy that was beat up right there.
Did you come in here to escalate the situation?
No, I'm not escalating. No.
The hell you aren't.
You
You know what you ought to do?
are
You ought to go
not.
and get dismissed.
So I want to thank you all. You know, you all been real nice to me. You hit the subscribe bell and all this. I'm asking for you YouTubers, old, the new ones. Remember you old timers. I'm not saying you're old, but you've been on YouTube a long time. I'm asking you all to help me to get the subscribers and help me get to 4,000 watch hours. Give me some ideas. I've listened to you all asked me do this video on Chris. I've listened to y'all. And I've listened to y'all on court cases like Karen Reed. I believe she's not guilty. Some of you think she's guilty. But listen to the evidence of any court cases. Take notes when you're at home watching it on YouTube. No matter if it's Karen Reed court case, Chad Daybell court case, take your notes. I've done a few streams on Chad Daybell, but I've been listening to people about Karen Reed murder trial, and it gets to me. I believe she being set up. Have you heard yesterday when they was in court? They got rid of the German Shepherd. Have you heard early in the trial that O'Keefe had dog bites on him, had scratches from the dog? Did they kill the dog or did they get rid of the dog? They got rid of evidence. Use common sense, people, when you watch these trials. Take notes. Use common sense. That's all it takes, people. Good common sense. A bunch of you have subscribed to my channel. Some of the things you don't like, then you unsubscribe because you don't like what's in my content. But you don't have to unsubscribe. Tell me how to improve it. Or, put in the comments what you like me to do. That's what I ask, just like other YouTube. How can I improve my channel? I've listened to you all. And you all, like, I said I was going to do another video about Jamie Noel. Well, I decided to wait until tomorrow, Sunday. And that'd be about his girlfriend and the child was born out of wedlock. And you'll probably like that, but it's public record. If you know where to go for public records, you can find it. That'd be just like I showed you last night. And my question to you all out there, even lawyers, it's watching this. Okay, since Jamie Noel, the ex-sheriff, used a credit card and bought all those cars in the Utica Fire Department's name and New Chapel Ambulance Service. My questions are, can the fire department or New Chapel Ambulance Service, can they go back and take him back, or would they have to get a court order to go back and reclaim those cars that legally belongs to the fire department and New Chapel Ambulance Service? That's my questions to you all people out there. You all like this, what I done today? Thank you. Thank you. I love all that notoriety. But I've been listening to you all. You told me what court cases you like. You all said that you want to do this on for public safety today. Hit my subscribe bell, hit the thumbs up, share it, and all this. Do I believe Chris? Just like a judge, he showed proof that there was no such street address, this and that. The prosecutor can't show that Chris did sign the paperwork. There's no records 20 plus years ago showing that he was in jail. No video. Back there then, they had VHS, if you all remember. There's too many unanswered questions. You all should have the same thing because this could happen to you or your family. But instead of using a cell phone, people, they got what they call camera glasses. You know, it'd be like regular glasses, and you have a camera with audio. You might want to try something like that, some of you new YouTubers. As you all know, ladies, I got pink headphones on. If you look up here, you see pink headphones. You all know what I support. I support your ladies with breast cancer. So I want to thank you all very much for joining me today. You saw me outside earlier taking care of my cats, loving on my cats. You see on the bottom of your screen my post office box, the Cash App. You can send me stuff for my cats, plates, anything, you want to, no matter what country you live in. I love to have stuff from your country, wherever you're at, as long as it's legal in the USA, if you know what I mean. No X-rated pictures. I'm not into that bull crap. So I want to thank you all. I should be live tomorrow, 4 or 5 o'clock, more on the ex-sheriff Jamey No, who got 60 days in jail for contempt of court. It's bad, but knowing how they do it, he's in solitary confinement. 23 hours he's locked up. I'm guessing since he's an ex-cop, ex-sheriff, ex-state trooper, he's probably down in Bookend. I don't know nothing about Scott County Jail. Some of your people that lives in Scott County, how's that work? I don't care what you did. I like to have your comments of it. Is it down there by Bookend like it is in Clark County or what? I don't know. So I want to thank you all. Hit that subscribe bell. And when you hear this, you know what that means, people. I want to thank you all very much for joining me today. Okay, God bless you all. Thank you. Hit that subscribe button. If you don't agree with me, don't unsubscribe. God don't want you to do that. I've asked you all out there on YouTube, it's in the chat. Give me ideas what you want me to talk about or videos you want me to